Hey guys, Mr. Cooney here from home, as you can see, not in the classroom. You got 3 lessons on verbs, 5, 6, and 7 that we're looking at here. And yeah, so I'm going to kind of talk through these and talk about which ones I'd like you to do. So I know you know that verbs express an action or a state of being and necessary to make a statement. Every sentence got to have one. Action verb tells what something or someone does. It can express mental or physical action. Action verbs followed by a word that answers the question what or whom are called transitive verbs. Does it act upon something or someone? If it does, then it's transitive. It has what's called an object. An action verb is not followed by a word. Answers the question what or whom is called intransitive. So Sally made the pie. She made what? Can you answer that question? Pie, yes, that's transitive. If she bakes very well, Sally bakes what? Or bakes whom? She probably doesn't bake whom. That's intransitive because it just describes what she does and there's no direct answer to that question about what or whom. So that is the difference between transitive and intransitive. Some verbs can be either transitive or intransitive, and some are by their very nature only one or the other. But does it have something that is acted upon? That determines it. So exercise 1 asks us to draw 2 lines under each action verb. Draw T in the blank if the verb's transitive and I if it's intransitive. Okay, so example, Fina sold my sister that special flour she uses in those tasty cakes. And sold what or whom? Special flour, right? So that's transitive. And then she uses what or she uses whom? You can't really answer that here, right? So that's intransitive. So I got sold and uses. First one is transitive because sold the flour, right? And the second one is intransitive because uses, you can't directly answer that question. There are, 38 of those. Let's just do 20 and do the writing link. Write 2 sentences that use transitive verbs, action verbs, and 2 sentences that use intransitive action verbs. Choose a nice, interesting subject and go for it. All right, so linking verbs, lesson 6. These link verbs, they join or express kind of state of being, okay? The main ones are conjugations of the verb be, such as am, is, are, were, will be, has been, and various things like that. But there are other ones that can be action verbs, but in many cases are linking verbs, right? So let's take the word appear. If I appear in the room, like I'm teleported there or something, that would be an action verb, right? But it appears cloudy outside, that's just describing a condition. That would be a linking verb, okay? So all of these can be either one, but in certain circumstances, they only express a condition, right? Okay, so in exercise 1 asks us to underline each verb and write linking verb in the blank if the verb is a linking verb and AV if the verb is an action verb. So find the verb and determine which it is. If it's is, am, are, was, were, has been, will be, all those different conjugations, you know it's a linking verb. If it's anything else, for the most part, it's going to be action verbs. But if it's one of these verbs that's used to express a condition rather than being an action, that's also a linking verb. So it gets a little bit tricky there. Okay, there are 32 of those. Let's do 20, okay? 1 through 20 on lesson 6, exercise 1. And then we go on to lesson 7, verb phrases. Technically, these are also action verbs. The verb in a sentence may consist of more than one word. It has to do with conjugations, basically, placing it in time. We call the words that accompany a main verb auxiliary. I call them helping verbs. And a verb phrase consists of a main verb and all its auxiliary verbs. So you think of the word apologize, right? That's an action verb. But there's all kinds of conjugations that add am apologizing, was apologizing, would have been apologizing. All those are what we call verb phrases, okay? Have arrived. Do have. Sometimes they're split up, right? Okay. Scrolling down here, and we have a whole bunch, 40 of those. Let's do half of the lesson 7 ones. It says draw 1 line under each main verb and 2 lines under each auxiliary or helping verb. Okay, so you're finding the whole verb phrase, such as Tom has been feeling much better since his visit to the doctor. The whole verb phrase is has been feeling, okay? So we underline the action verb, and we double underline has been. I don't care how you do that, as long as I can see that you have done it, that you've distinguished, that you found the verb phrase and you distinguish between the actual action verb and the helping verbs. Okay. So once again, on this third one, 40 items, let's do half of them, and let's definitely do the writing link. Always want to do that. Write a brief paragraph about what you might do after school today. Be sure to use auxiliary verbs along with main verbs. Just try to model and demonstrate those techniques. Okay, so we got lessons 5, 6, and 7. I've mentioned which ones to do, somewhere around half of each set, and that's due later this week. I'm not going to try to remember exactly when, because you have that on the daily activities. All right. Sounds good. See you soon.